Hello and welcome to the Transformational Speakers Podcast. I'm your host, Erin Loman-Jack, and I am excited because today I have an amazing woman who's doing some big things. I always bring you the best thought leaders, and today I bring to you Holly Porter. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks, Erin, for having me. I'm so excited to have some conversation with you.
I know. It's so fun. It's fun when, this is something people don't know behind scenes. Some people I don't get to know beforehand. I might not even read their bio before I jump on. So sometimes it's fun for me to get to just play because this is how you roll. When you start learning to speak, you can speak extemporaneously at all times. You know your stories. You know your stuff. You're so good, you don't have to do that anymore. And that's why practice and doing things like this, Facebook Lives, practicing just speaking from your heart is truly how we're going to move the world.
I agree. Oh, I so agree with you. Couldn't agree more, actually. And I roll with the fun. So you just ask me whatever. I'm an open book.
Me too. I have no skeletons in this closet.
So I'm like, political office, they're out.
I know, I love that. We were talking about how she ran for political office. I always tell my husband, I don't know if there's any skeletons in there that I don't know about. The ones I'm totally open, I have no shame around anymore. I've totally released all of that and I'm okay with sharing it. Yeah. But what if I don't know that there's something out there? But it's okay. It's all good.
I know. Yeah, really. I mean, we have 8 kids. So I'm like, they know it all. It's like, it's okay. We're good.
That's hilarious. I love it. So, okay, Holly, well, tell us more about what you do and how you do what you do.
Oh, wow. So I've had 9 startup companies. So I've been literally a serial entrepreneur most of my life. I started working when I was 12 years old. And my dad, I was raised with money and I never knew it. Like, I think that is such a good quality for my dad to do. So I started working really young and I always wanted to, get married and raise a family. I got married at 18, did that and wanted 3 jobs. And guess what? I still have always had 3 jobs.
Yes.
They change all the time. So yeah, when my kids were younger, I had a daycare, preschool. And as they grew up then I was over, fundraising and soccer regional commissioner. So I could be there on the field with them while I'm doing real estate deals on the phone. Yeah, lots of stuff. So I usually had 2 or 3 companies at a time. And I've always coached. I had a hair salon and spa for 17 years. And so, you're behind a chair. That's what you're doing all day is coaching, right? You tell your hairdresser everything.
It's like a therapist.
That I ever wanted to know.
Right.
So that's behind me now. I still do a few high-end clients. But, I love the coaching. I love the consulting. And there is a difference. Consulting I like because I feel like you can kind of tell people what to do a little more than if I've got the coach hat on. It's like, well, what do you want me to be today? Your coach or your consultant? What do you really need? Because I want to serve at the highest level and I want people to walk away with, feeling like, whoa, that conversation had a lot of value and I can go pick her brain about anything and she'll give me a straight answer. Like, I do personality profiling, so I know really how straight of an answer I can give them because some of them, it might crush them and destroy them for life. And others, they'll be like, sweet, I'm going to go over here and change that,
Yeah. And I think it's an important thing to know. I mean, one of the things I always talk about when speaking is you should hit on all the different personalities and how to motivate each one so that you make sure you're not leaving anybody out, right?
Yes. I have a gift I can give everyone. Would you like to put it in the show notes?
Sure.
So, we didn't talk about that.
Good.
So it's my signature talk, and it's a book called Inbox, Outbox, Unbox, No Box, 4 Steps to Delete Your Box Thinking.
I like that.
So it's a little short 30-minute read, and inside you take a shoe quiz. If you were a shoe, what kind of shoe would you be? And there's one book for the gals and one for the guys. And when you get your shoe persona figured out, then it goes on to share how you step out of the box, realize, it's all mindset. It's like, there is no box. Get rid of the box. Don't be in or out. Anyway, so it goes through each shoe persona and how they think and what to do to not think that way that doesn't serve them the best. So
I love that. Well, I'd be some sparkly heels, that's for sure. That's definitely what I do on stage. I'm always known for my shoes, and I always love shoes because you don't outgrow them. They're like, you don't need a smaller size or a bigger size. You know your size, and it usually always fits, right? So I love shoes, and that's one of my guilty pleasures.
Oh, yeah. All
So
about.
tell us more about prosperity and how you've gotten into really helping people with their mindsets around this, how they monetize themselves, that kind of thing.
Ooh. So I rebranded last year because I was working a lot. My company was called the Image Designers. And I did go and do like celebrity high-end people where I would do energy work with them. I'd do color analysis, personality profiling, and then we'd go through their whole closet, find what works, what didn't, and then I'd take them shopping. So it was like a 2-day little excursion, and it
Yeah.
was a blast. And I knew that wasn't really my path. And so as I shifted, I started, coaching more and consulting more, and the name just didn't fit. So we rebranded this year, I think, it was just the first of the year, to Prosperity Profilers. So that's what we do. We help people. I have a 28-day money mindset reset program. That's just a small little program. People, if they want to get a little taste of working with me, it's something that they can jump in and do that way. And there's a little bit of coaching with it, but it's mostly recorded. It's on a Facebook group, so you just go search the day. So I've got that going on. So prosperity to me can mean so many different things. It's not always about money. It's interesting, and I really had to sit on that name, prosperity, because I am not money motivated. Like that's why in politics I didn't win. I felt like I walked away the biggest winner of all of them because I lost. Because it's money and power. And money and power, neither of those are my motivators. And so how do you ever win at that? But I feel like, again, it taught me a lot of lessons. I learned about people. And so it just fit. The prosperity was just like, wow, you can be prosperous in more than just money. You can be prosperous in your spiritual belief or your health or your relationship. And so honestly, because I've had so many different experiences, I even want to say experiences with husbands. See, I'm an open book. I feel like I can really serve people at whatever level they're at, and just see if we can help them be prosperous in all ways, because we need to be well-rounded, right? I mean,
Right.
if our home life's suffering and I'm doing business coaching, like they don't realize it's something at home that's going on. Do you not see that? Let's
Right.
see what's going on there. And then all of a sudden your business starts thriving because your home life's thriving.
Yeah. And for me, it's like, don't go and do sales calls when you're in desperation, when you're having things go awry, when you feel like crap. People are going to know. Don't take your baggage with you into other things, right? So clean up here, then clean up here, and then everything, not everything's going to always be in balance. Not everything's going to be perfect. At the same time, balance out the times you're spending on those things so that you can be more well-rounded.
Yeah, I teach time management and time blocking, and I have a lot of things that I teach around that as well, which it's interesting because even, we all get stuck. And even though we teach what we know, we still get stuck. I mean, you and I were talking about that. It's like, I don't care what level you're at in life or in finances, we all have the same problems.
Right.
We do. It's just at a different level, I mean, they always say your first million is the hardest to make, and after that, it's easy. Right. Well, for the people that haven't made $1 million, that's like not even in there yet. You know what I mean?
It totally.
So that shift. And when you talked about that, I was thinking, it's like, don't go to the grocery store hungry. Like, it's the same thing. What do? You buy everything in sight, and it's seriously eating it in your car. I mean, how many times I'm so guilty, like I put stuff in my trunk and I pull out, I want a little this and I want a little that. While I'm driving home, I'm taking it out if I'm hungry,
No, even my kids, my husband says this is stealing. I don't agree, but I get the loaf of bread from the store, like the French bread, and my kids and I will start tearing it off and eating it on the way. I'm like, we still pay for it, but it might be empty by the time we get there. It's half a loaf.
My son used to always tell my littler one when we would go I rarely took him to the grocery store for obvious reasons, and the grapes, I'd eat the grapes. It's like, and my other son was like, now we're going to have to weigh him at the checkout. I'm not paying for his weight for grapes. Sorry.
I love it. No, it's fun. So tell me, what are some of the roadblocks you've experienced on this journey?
Oh, I think we self-sabotage. That's probably a big one. I think when I figured out how to get the mindset straight, then that everything just fell into place. Like when you just figure out a few key things in your life, like you have those skills. They really are skills. And that's why personal development and business development, all that's so important to me. And that's why my events all around that. Like I want people to come knowing they're going to leave with some action steps to take, and it'll change. Something will change, right?
Right. All my workshops, all my stuff is get down and dirty. Like we're taking out notebooks. We're doing the work. We're not just talking about it. I will teach you about it. Then we're going to do it, because I always work myself out of a job. I want you to be able to leave so you know how to write your own talk, deliver it, how to do all the things that you need, that you don't need me anymore.
I love it. Yeah, it's so true. Like I'm a really good people person, but I'm not a detail person. So what I want to share about that is you only do what you can do, you know, and those other jobs, like figure out what you are valuing yourself per hour. And if you can pay someone, usually what, a third or a fourth of that, if you're there, then do that. Why would you keep doing all those jobs? And that's been my biggest mistake, honestly, is I can do it. And sometimes it's easier to do it just to have it done. It's like, by the time I explain it to you, I could have done it 3 times.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that a lot.
But if you take the time to do that, then the next time something comes up, guess what? They know how. And you just took that time. It's like that initial investment. Everything's that initial investment. I mean, buying a house, you buy a house, what do you pay up front most of the time is the interest. You know what I mean? So you get that investment in first, they get their money first, then you get yours, you know?
Yep. And I think I think it's a hard thing for women, especially because we want to be the superhero. We think we can do it all. You know, we're moms, we're wives, we're business owners, we're the PTSA president, right? We have all these hats.
Yeah.
And I'm a good girl. I sit on my hands at the PTSA meeting when they were looking for board members, and I'm like, looking around, nope, not me. But then when they brought up, then I got suckered, because when they said, well, we really want to bring in more assemblies this year and do more personal development for kids. And I'm like, I'm in. Yeah. I got enough people behind me that I could bring in and do, and I can raise money for that, because that's something I'm passionate about.
That's different. The passion.
Teaching kids stuff that they're not learning in school. Yes, please. Yeah. I'm all in.
Yeah. I love that. Well, it is when they get our heartstrings. That's why, you know, if people could learn with the personality, you know, learn how to do that. Like, what is it that's going to pull at their heartstrings? It's not a trick. I feel like it's a skill. It's not a trick. And if you learn that skill, how do you not be prosperous? I mean, you're serving them at a higher level.
Right. I mean, it's funny. So this week I've been being the mompreneur for my kidpreneur. I've been making unicorn fudge and unicorn Rice Krispie treats, because he's got his business fair on Tuesday, and my son is amazing. He raises money only for charity. But, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, these kids. Like, so one of the things we started doing was we talked about a business plan, and we talked about getting an investor, your parents, right? So either an investor, or do you get a loan, right? And then what would that look like for your business? How much did you pay for it? How much do you want to, what's the cost? Yeah. What's the labor? And then what's the cost you're going to sell it at? And then like going through all these things, and I'm like, man, I guess I should do this for kids more often, not just my own kid. My kid's brilliant at business. And I'm like, I want to create something local that we do something like that, where we walk kids through, you know, a couple months of this on a Saturday, and then they get to have a business fair and sell their stuff.
Yes.
Because they light up. They get so excited.
I always bought my kids a job. That's what I called it. You know, they'd make the money, I didn't. But we had a snack shack we were in charge of. And when they were young, I mean, I had 3 of my kids working in it, and that's how they made money. But they had to be dedicated. They had certain hours they had to be there, and they had to prep food, and it was good, I think, you know. And then we bought a shave ice little thing, but it was on a cart, so we could go places, and it'd travel with it, and yeah, it was fun.
Smart. Yeah. Not like the Snoopy snow cone machine that we used to have as kids.
It was high tech. It was not cheap. Your fingers under that blade. I like your fingers on your hand.
So what would you say is your superpowers?
Oh, okay. The first thing that comes to mind is I'm a connector. Like, I can pretty much connect somebody to about anybody. Like if you say, oh, I really have this need, you know, or I know a source of where I can go to get that for you. And that's just like, to me, it's easy for me and it lights me up. And, you know, sometimes I get stuck where I'm like, oh, I need a me. Like I needed someone to connect me. Like, who do I know? Because yeah, there's a lot of connectors out there now. And you know, what's interesting, when you're a connector, you start meeting more connectors.
That's me.
Exactly. Thank you. I'll remember that. I'm going to use you.
Oh yeah, please do.
And that's how I feel, because if I help somebody become prosperous, oh my gosh, if I can connect two people, I've actually, you know, because I teach relationships as well. I've connected 14 couples that have been married and never been divorced. Like,
wow.
I couldn't do that for me that easy, but
it's a whole level of connection.
I'm like, I don't think any, and I have to think back, but I don't think any of them are divorced, like not one.
That's awesome.
So I feel like I have that gift to where, okay, this person can work and this person can work. And I mean, everyone didn't get married that I've connected. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, yeah. My rule was, if it doesn't work out, you're both still my friend, you know, but these are my rules. And I'm super picky about certain things of connecting people because, you know, that, you know, politics, religion, and all that comes into play. And it's like, those are marriage issues, you know,
yeah,
that can come up later. And so I got
Matt
hanging around here.
That's funny. No, I am definitely a master connector. And I always say it's this divine download, because sometimes I'm just sitting there and I'm like, you really need to meet so-and-so. And sometimes I go, I don't know why. Yeah. And I'm going to be totally honest with you, but there's a reason. And I can't wait to see how it unfolds. So I'm going to do the connection. So if I pull up on my phone and you look at Facebook Messenger, they're mostly all connections because I do it on the spot. Here's the thing that I always say as a tip.
A group?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I do it all the time. Yeah.
Because if I think I'll forget it. If I don't do it right then. So I look at the person and say, hold on a second. And I do, I said, okay, it's been made. It's the next step for you. And then you have a chance to watch it unfold. If one person doesn't respond, there's your reputation on the line, right? So then you call that person, hey, I gave you a connection. I need you to reach out. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You're so right. I forgot. And because that's the thing, like you're talking about being picky about how you do it. My boundary is when I'm connecting you, there is a purpose and you're going to know it. And it's going to be something that happened. It's something immaculate is going to happen, but you got to do the work. You got to take the next step. And every time they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. And then I get more like, hey, who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know?
Yeah. I'm still a broker, a real estate broker. But when I had my brokerage in the town I moved from, you know, my clients, I would always say that. Plus I had the salon. So my brokerage was actually my office was in the salon because it was a big one. And I'd always say to people, and you know, you need a new dentist, doctor, whatever, you know, because I worked all my business is usually by referral. And so that's kind of where I started going, I'm pretty good at this. Like this makes me so excited to be able to do this for people, you know, so.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not something, you know, it's funny because I always said, man, if I could just get paid for all the times I connect people, right, I would be rich, right? Because it's so easy and so second nature to us. I mean, I always feel like I have this mental Rolodex. And when I always ask people, so what do you need? Who's your ideal client? And it goes into my head. And I know the next time it comes up, I know I can give you a referral.
I love the intuitive part that you're doing. I do that as well. But I love how you're articulating that because you're listening. Like, bravo for you that you are listening to that and you're acting on it. Even bigger, that you're actually taking action. I love action takers.
Yes. I am not the girl to think about anything. I will jump in and I'll make it right later. Huh?
I love to tell people what to do, and then I love even more when they actually do it. Yes.
Amen. That should be like on your coaching certificate, like somehow or whatever, like on your wall somewhere, you know?
One of my girlfriends, who also is my book publisher, she told me a couple weeks ago, I'm just going to say it even if she hears this. I was like, that she loves that I help her and I'm honest with her. I'll just tell her how it is because we just have a conversation. Sometimes I have to step back and ask her, do you want it as a friend? Do you want it as a coach? What do you want the answer as, you know? Well, anyway, she just said, and sometimes I'm just really taken back. And by the way, everything I suggest to her, within 24 hours, she does, just so you know, almost all the time. Not everything, but almost all the time. And she said, but your delivery sucks. I was like, Really, like what, you know? And I was talking to another high-end mentor that said she's been told that too. And I go, must be
I'm laughing because that's so me.
we're like, it must be our personality style though, back to that, because I go, really? I go, it's never my intention to hurt you, right? But she's sensitive. And I guess it's how I say it. And so I'm like, okay, I need to work on my words.
Yeah. So I'll give you a tip. This
Yeah.
has changed. So I did a lot of personal development work many years ago and realized I was Nurse Ratchet. I was a at-risk teen counselor, and I was like getting kids to break down like no one's business, like gang members, right? And it's because I can just cut right in, and I'm intuitive and I know the buttons. And what I realized is I was being accoladed for that. People are like, I can't believe you could do that. But then I was thinking that everyone needed that. Everyone needed to be slapped in their face with their stuff.
Yeah.
And what I realized is that my delivery sucked. And so I've asked for a lot of feedback around it. Took me a while to get people to actually do that. But what I always prepare people with is I always see you in the highest and best.
Mm-hmm.
And so the information I'm about to give to you comes from that place. I always hold you to a high standard, and I see that you're not living up to that right now. So I'm gonna give you some suggestions and some feedback around that, because I want you to be at your best. And they're like, oh, okay. And it seems to be, my intentions are always from that place. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay. And then they're able to hear it a little bit better, because I think it's true. We all see ourselves through the critical glasses, right? We're like, oh my gosh, look at this one pimple on my face. I mean, it starts early. Everyone's noticing my pimple. No one's noticing your pimple because they're worried about theirs. But we're going from that judgmental place all the time on ourselves. So if somebody else gives us something that we perceive as criticism, and not just feedback, is that then we take it personally. And there's no reason to take it personally when you were saying, well, in your best and highest, I see you up here, and how you're showing up is a little bit right here. And so I'm curious. This is always my favorite word. I'm curious about what's going on in that gap.
Oh, I love that. Okay, I'm going to give you feedback on that. I'm going to do that next time.
Yes.
And then I'm going to see if she notices. I think she will. We'll just see. Yeah, because I'm like, I've actually pulled back. I'm like, I haven't been calling, and like, I feel like the friendship, and it's my stuff, because she called me out on it, and I'm glad she did, because now that awareness is there, and now I'm like, oh, because I'm thinking, oh, we're just friends. I can just say whatever to her, but she took it really to heart, and now I know that's how she felt about it. So it's like, okay, so next time I do want to chat with her about something, because she does take action, like she obviously respects me and takes the information, to heart. But
I also have a rule. I have a 24-hour rule. If I think that something's been said or done to me that I take offense to, I need to sit with and figure out what it is. So someone gave me feedback, and it was like, and if it really rubbed me the wrong way, why is it doing that? I need to examine that. But I have 24 hours to call or see them in person to have a one-on-one conversation. And it has changed my life dramatically, because there's no resentments anymore. There's no time to build resentment when you're like, okay, so why did that kick up stuff for me? What is it? What do I need to look at about this? Do I believe that about myself? Okay, yes, I need to work on that. However, that wasn't that person's intentions, and I want to clear the air so that I don't have those crunchy feelings when I see that person next, right?
Yeah, I'm having a situation that just happened this morning on that. Mine's usually a 2-day rule. I love that you said a 24-hour. I'm going to try that, because 2 days for me always felt better, and life's too short. Like, maybe I only need 24 hours. Maybe I'm second guessing after 24 hours, because so somebody shared a couple texts that they weren't incriminating to me. They were to the point, but they were sent to her as a friend, to protect somebody. And she sent them to somebody else that's using them against me, like in a complaint. And I'm thinking, first of all, I have to do all this paperwork for it now. And it's like, wait a minute, what I said wasn't even bad, but now I have to take my time to explain it,
Yep.
And it's not going to look good for the person that actually filed the complaint. So I'm like, wait, what? So this morning I wake up. So this is all what you just said. I wake up, I want to sleep on it last night, because what I wanted to do was ask her, instead of getting mad with her and just taking her off my Facebook friend list or whatever, I wanted to say, was that your intention? to have that happen, to use that they would, were you intending for them to use that? Absolutely not. They sent me back. They said, no, that was not my intention at all. Of course, they just wanted to help them with their situation.
Right.
Well, then he used it against me. So it's like, yeah. So, and at the same time, to protect myself, that person's not really a friend to me anymore.
Right.
Like, I'm civil, I'll be kind, but I'm not going to go out of my way to have that person as a friend, because that felt icky. I was like,
Yeah.
so you basically took my information that really wasn't incriminating to me, you know?
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, it was interesting how that was.
I find 24 hours. Okay, there's been some times I need 48 because I'm really pissed.
Say the difference. Yes. Yeah.
There are some times where I'm so angry, I need some time because I need to work through those feelings first, then look at the feedback, then go to that person, because I never want to come at them raging. And if you always use curiosity. So there was something that happened years ago. This is the first time I ever used this because I was still a little nurse ratchety with my delivery. And she had said, she always said, she's looked at me at this personal development workshop and said, oh my gosh, I want to grow up to be like you. You're so amazing, blah, 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 all these things. And then she turns around and 2 days later, she sends an email to everyone that has not attended this personal development workshop and pretty much spilled the beans about what to expect and not to waste their time and their money.
Oh.
And one of those people on that email was my person. And I feel like she was pooping in my sandbox. And it took me a little bit. And I had then the company coming at me, telling me like, you know, you need to clean this up with her. You know, she's your sister. She's not my real sister, but in this group, she's, you know, your colleague. You need to take, and I was like, okay. So they're all yelling and screaming. That was their approach. Right. I just joined and I said, I'm really curious. Who I met at this event and who wrote this email feels like two separate people. Can you explain to me what your intentions were? Because I'm really confused.
Right.
And she was like, oh no, I wanted to save people money. I saw people struggling with wanting to come up with money. And I said, so let me just give you a feedback. I actually, for me to earn the money to go to this next level, it was the journey I needed to take to learn to break through my abundance. And she's like, oh my gosh. And I said, you just robbed people from that. She'd never thought about it from that perspective. And so all in all, it was a total win-win. She was like, thank you so much. I could hear you. I haven't been able to hear these other people who are yelling at me.
Right.
But curiosity and doing that really gives you that space for people to go, okay, she's curious about this, not pointing the finger and yelling at people.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. I love it though. But you know, we're all here to learn, and
totally.
if we're not growing, we're not getting anywhere. So
right.
And you do personal development, I do personal development, and that's why it's so important to have somebody behind me. Looks like yeah, so important, you know, to get those. I love the clarity though that you gave her. She'll probably never forget that conversation ever.
No. And I won't either, because it for the first time I used curiosity instead of the yelling, instead of my bad delivery, and it worked. And I was like, ooh, I got to keep trying this in other places. And it really has saved me so many relationships.
Yeah. I used to just run and hide and just kind of pout and have my feelings hurt or whatever. And I'd rather be hurt than hurt somebody, you know? And now it's like, life is too friggin' short. No, I'm going to clean this up. I want to know, you're going to know where I stand. I would love to know where you stand. You know, I've had friends for years. I mean, I love that you can have that connection with someone and have them forever, you know, but I'm constantly changing on my Facebook friends. I only unfriend when they're like people live in another country or something, or that I never have anything common, because I keep hitting 5,000, and I always leave like 10 open until I hit it again.
Yeah.
Because I always want to open up that space for those new people and those new friendships in my life that are serving me at the time. You know, I mean, 5,000 people, seriously, like how many of those do I really have a relationship with? I might know 3,000 of them, you know, or 4,000 of them even.
Right.
I don't know who they are, but do I know who they are, and are they engaging with me, and are we friends? And
And I think it's important. I think it's important to look at, like, I can tell you by looking at people's faces. So I have a photographic memory. So looking at people's profile pictures, and then I will know where they live and what they do. And I might not know more than that, but I could go through my whole 4,300 people or whatever and look, and I would tell most of them. And then some of them I'm like, ooh, What's this intention? And intuitively, I'll know, but I also look at what else they're posting. Like go down and really look at what people are posting. It's all political rants. It's cat videos. It's things that aren't going to serve me. And they're probably not my ideal clients. Yeah, I'll pass,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I hear you have a big event coming up.
Oh, I do. Yeah, totally.
So tell us about it.
So it's called Prosperity, and it's about meet, motivate, monetize you and your business. So again, personal and business development, just what we've been talking about. I think you can't have one without the other, and you can't have the other without the other. You just need all of it to be a well-rounded, balanced person. So it's in Las Vegas. It's September 28th and 29th. It's at the Alexis Park. And oh my gosh, I've got a great lineup of people coming. I've got some great sponsors coming. Like, you will go away full. I created the event around my book series. And so I have the 40-40 rules, 30-30 rules, and next year will be the 20-20 rules. Eventually I'll have a grandma rules. So because it's the rules, we're following the platinum rule. And the platinum rule is above the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. The platinum's do unto others as they would have done unto them. So it steps the level of service up. You're going to give them what they want, not just what you think or what you want them to have. So we did a lot of surveying, like what would get you to this event, like what would you want to learn and what would you want to take away. So that's what we built it around. And there's just great things happening. We also have upgrade VIP, and in there you're going to be able to sit down for those 2 days with the speakers and other influencers. And we're even going to go to dinner and a comedy show as part of the VIP. So it'll be fast, fun. I'm all about gamification. So like when you come, I'll touch on all the personalities. Like everybody should walk away feeling full and excited they're there. And it will be an annual event. So yeah, I'm just super excited for it. So I hope I'll put the link. It's just prosperityevent with a T.com, prosperityevent.com. And
I'll put those in the show notes for you so that anyone can buy those tickets. I will be bummed because I go to Ireland for one girlfriend's wedding, fly back, and then that weekend that you're doing that is my sister's wedding. So I'm like, those 2 weeks are like booked for me.
Those only happen once, so I believe you should be there.
Yes, those things are important. So that'll be awesome, though. I would definitely love to be invited to the next one because that would be amazing. And I have a question. The platinum rule, where did you learn that?
So Tony Alessandra created that, and he's the guy that does DISC.
Okay.
Profiling. So my book's based a lot on that same type. Usually there's 4 personalities. I believe in way more. I will just state that fact. You can't confuse people, though. All they can handle is 4. I can only have 4 shoes. So when everyone's like, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm like, well, that shoe's not my book. But, that doesn't mean you can't wear it. It doesn't mean you don't fit in my book.
Right.
It's fun.
Well, and I think with the personality profiles, I really do, because my background in psychology, I teach the behavior matrix. So it's controller, analyst, promoter, supporter. And for me, I am 80% a promoter, like true. That is like my soul. But I watched my mom run our household as the controller. So one of my go-tos, the 20%, goes into the controller. And it's the place I go when I feel out of control. Right? When there's not efficiency in what's happening. There's not someone else taking control. There's like all these things that are just going crazy. And I'm like, oop, I step back over here. So I do believe that there's a lot of bit of the nature and nurture in that because of what you see when you grow up. Either you can see it and go, ooh, that worked. Or you want to go, I don't want to be like my mom at all and go completely opposite. So I do think there is some like blending of some things for people.
But what I share with people is like, when you see somebody and they're just off, like we've all met people, you're just like, something's wrong with them, but I don't know what, and that's usually because they're living not in their ideal personality, Right. And it really depends. I mean, like you said, you go into the controller, even though that's not who you are. Well, whoever you're married to, how you were raised, what I mean? Different times in our lives. Yeah. So I always share, when you're taking any kind of a personality quiz, take it as your younger self because it's more true and authentic.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so how else can people find out more about you?
They can go to my website. It's hollyporter.com.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. This has been amazing. I've had so much fun getting to know you, and I know this isn't in here. So
No.
I'm excited to hear more. Everything to find out more about Holly and her event, I will put it in the show notes. And tune in next episode, and we will see you on stage.